Picture yourself atop an Andean peak, condors soaring above. Glide down the Amazon, monkeys chattering, birds darting past. This is Ecuador. Adventure, nature, and vibrant cities all on a budget. You don't need a fortune, just a spirit of adventure. Pack your bags, your journey begins now. Are you ready? Let's go. Every adventure starts with a plan and a budget. $900 for 2 weeks in Ecuador? It's possible. The secret: think like a local, not a tourist. Book flights early, use comparison sites, and be flexible with dates to save big. Skip expensive hotels. Hostels are affordable, social, and often have kitchens. I paid $8 to $15 a night for a clean bed. Cooking your own meals with local groceries saves a surprising amount. Eating out? Look for almuerzos. Set lunches at local restaurants for $2 to $4. You'll get soup, a main dish, and fresh juice. A true taste of Ecuador. Eat a big lunch, have a light dinner, and your food budget stretches far. For tours and transport, avoid big companies. Use public buses and local guides. Ecuador's bus system is cheap and reliable. Hours-long rides cost just a few dollars. My Amazon trip? A community-run lodge. Authentic and affordable. The formula: book flights early, stay in hostels, eat almuerzos, ride public buses. That's the foundation of your budget adventure. Travel smart, spend less, experience more. Visual hostel common rooms, bustling markets, local buses. Visual travelers sharing meals, planning routes together. My journey began in Quito, Ecuador's capital, perched high in the Andes. The city's thin air was a constant reminder. I was somewhere new. Quito is a city of contrasts, modern bustle and historic charm. The Old Town, a UNESCO World Heritage Site, is filled with colonial churches and cobblestone streets. I took a $2 bus from the airport to my hostel in the historic center, $10 a night. Walking the city is the best way to explore. I wandered alleys, discovered hidden courtyards, and climbed the Basilica del Voto Nacional for breathtaking views. The rooftops and volcanoes stretched out before me, standing on top of the world for just a few dollars. Quito's markets are a feast for the senses. Exotic fruits, fresh juices, and empanadas for less than $1. Lunch was a hearty almuerzo potato soup, grilled chicken, rice, and lentils. The Teleferico cable car took me up Pichincha volcano, over 13,000 feet high. The view, the city below, the avenue of the volcanoes beyond. Hours passed as I breathed in the mountain air, awed by the Andes scale. Visual cityscapes, street food, bustling markets, visual panoramic views from the Basilica and Teleferico, visual travelers mingling in hostels, sharing tips, visual sunset over Quito, visual local musicians in plazas. After a few days in the Andes, I headed for the Amazon. An overnight bus to Tina cost just $10, winding from mountains to humid jungle. Tina, the gateway to the Amazon, buzzes with life and adventure. I'd arranged to stay at a family-run eco-lodge, cheaper and more authentic than big resorts. From Tina, a local bus and a motorized canoe took me deep into the rainforest. The air grew thick, the city sounds faded, replaced by jungle symphonies. My guide, Mateo, pointed out caimans, turtles, and capybaras along the riverbanks. This was the real Amazon, untamed and wild. The lodge, simple wooden huts on stilts, no electricity except a few hours at night, no internet, just the jungle. My room had a bed, mosquito net, and a hammock overlooking the river. Sitting in that hammock, listening to the rainforest, I felt a deep peace. The journey was long, but I had arrived in the heart of the Amazon. Visual bus winding through mountains, canoe gliding on river, visual wildlife along riverbanks, lush jungle, visual eco-lodge, hammocks and river views, visual local guides greeting travelers, visual sunset over the Amazon, visual night sky filled with stars, visual campfire at the lodge. My home for the next few days was a small Quechua community. The family welcomed me warmly, sharing their world despite language barriers. Meals were simple and fresh: fruit, eggs, fish wrapped in jungle leaves, yucca, and plantains. I tried chicha, a traditional fermented drink, and shared stories over meals. One afternoon, Mateo's grandmother taught me to make maito, the leaf-wrapped fish. Her hands moved with practiced skill. Mine, not so much, but she laughed kindly. In that moment, I was a student, not a tourist. Living without modern conveniences was refreshing. At night, the jungle came alive with sound, and the stars were dazzling. Lying in my hammock, I found a quiet joy I'd been missing. Here, in the simplicity of the jungle, I found clarity. Visual family preparing food, open-air kitchen. Visual sharing meals, laughter around the table. Visual hammock under a starry sky. Visual jungle sounds at night. Visual sunrise over the river. Visual local children playing. Visual hands preparing traditional food. Each day in the Amazon brought new adventures. Mateo, my guide, knew the jungle intimately, its plants, animals, and secrets. We hiked beneath giant ceiba trees, spotted poison dart frogs, and learned which plants heal. Wildlife was everywhere if you knew where to look. At sunrise, we climbed an observation tower above the canopy. Parrots and toucans soared, howler monkeys roared. Another day, we visited a clay lick, watching hundreds of parrots and macaws descend in a riot of color. It was nature's masterpiece. Mateo taught me to walk quietly, observe respectfully. We are guests here. At night, we explored with flashlights, spiders, glowing fungi, sleeping birds. The jungle at night felt mysterious and alive. My time here was about more than seeing animals. It was about respect and humility. Visual jungle treks, wildlife close-ups, visual sunrise over the canopy, flocks of birds, visual clay lick, parrots in flight, visual night walk, glowing fungi, visual Mateo teaching about plants, visual quiet moments in the forest, visual river reflections at dusk. Leaving the Amazon, I returned to the mountains for the Quilotoa Loop trek. This multi-day hike winds through remote Andean villages, ending at the stunning Quilotoa Lake. It's a trek you can do independently and cheaply. From Quito, a bus to Latacunga cost just a couple of dollars. I stored my main bag, packed light, and took a local bus to Sigchos. The treks start. The trail passed through canyons, fields, and timeless villages. Local children greeted me, farmers waved, and the scenery changed with every step. The high altitude made it challenging, but the beauty was worth it. Each night, I stayed in simple guest houses, $15 to $20 for a bed, dinner, and breakfast. These family-run places support the local economy. After long days, sharing stories by the fire with other hikers was the perfect reward. Visual mountain trails, patchwork fields, visual village life, children waving, visual guest houses, communal dinners, visual hikers resting by the fire, visual sunrise over the Andes. The final day of the trek was the toughest and the most rewarding. A steep climb brought me to the rim of Quilotoa's turquoise crater lake. The view was breathtaking, a moment of pure triumph. After the trek, I explored Banos, Ecuador's adventure capital. I rented a bike for $5 and cycled the waterfall route, passing roaring cascades. The Pailon del Diablo waterfall was unforgettable. Visiting local markets was a highlight. Saquicili's market buzzed with life, color, and culture. These moments of connection, sharing fruit, chatting with children, meals with families, are what I'll remember most. Travel is about meeting people, realizing our shared humanity. These small moments are the true treasures of any journey. My 2 weeks in Ecuador ended, but the memories are priceless. I spent under $900 but gained so much more. I hiked the Andes, canoed the Amazon, met incredible people, and grew as a person. The best things in life aren't things, they're experiences. Your dream adventure is within reach. All it takes is courage, curiosity, and a plan. Use these tips. Travel like a local, eat local, stay local, ride public transport, and be open to new experiences. Step outside your comfort zone. You'll be amazed at how far you can go. Travel is about growth, confidence, and seeing the world with new eyes. When you return, you'll be changed, stronger, wiser, more compassionate. These are the true rewards of travel. My journey continues, and I invite you to join me. Follow my adventures, join our community, and inspire others to chase their dreams. The world is waiting. Your adventure is calling. Answer it. The time is now. Go live your story. Visual montage of Ecuador highlights. Visual, travelers waving goodbye. Visual, your adventure starts here on screen.